This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Bruchim Abbaim, welcome everyone. Agut Yar, Agabench to Yar, Gemar Chasima Taiva. Hope everybody had a nice Yom Tiv, and all the tefillos should be Niskabel, Barachim, V'ratza. And we're beginning now, Siman Tezayin, Shiur Talis, the size of the Talis. Shiur Talis Shechai B'tzitzis. The Shiur of a Talis, that's Chayiv and Tzitzis, Sheyiskaseba, Ba'irech, Uveroichav, Roishai, Verubai Shal Katan. The size of the Talis, that's Chayiv and Tzitzis, is that it should be able to cover in its length and its width the head and the majority of a Katan, Hamashalech Levade B'shuk, that would go by himself in the market, it doesn't need somebody to watch him. So a kid that's of age, that he can walk himself in the market, and he doesn't need someone to guard him, we need a talis that would cover his head and most of his body. Hagav v'az chayiv v'tzitzis. Then the beged is chayiv in tzitzis. What the Rama means v'az chayiv v'tzitzis, what is the Rama adding? The Mechaber already said the Shiur of a Talis that's Chayiv and Tzitzis is Sheyiskaseba Ba'orcha V'roichav. So the Mechaber said that this is the Shiur that's Chayiv and Tzitzis. But what the Rama means, V'az Chayiv and Tzitzis, the Gadol, not the kid. We're talking about what Shiur Beged does a Gadol need to wear for the Gadol to be Chayiv. It's a Beged that a Katan would wear. V'davku k'shagol lo she'pa'amim arav yotz v'lashuk. It's also, Davk, if the Gadol would sometimes wear it, I mean, this garment that a Katan would be comfortable to go out in public in, it has to be something that the Gadol would feel comfortable not to go out always in, but to go out upon occasion in. Okay, says the Mishna Berura Katan Aleph, Shal Katan. Now, how old is this Katan? V'hainu ben Teshan, a 9-year-old. B'tshuvas Maram Mintz, Siman Kofyod Mefalfal Heich Yotzim Dad Kanfes Aktanim Mizah Shir. The Maram Mintz asks, so many people have talis katan, and it looks like they're wearing their 2-year-old's undershirt. So, does that have any value? Here, this is the Mishna Berura, the Mechaber is giving a very legitimate shiur. I mean, this is a substantial shiur, and we have people that their garments that they wear are much smaller. So basically what the Maram Mintz says is, the Torah of Dvarav, the mutav lech v'hem milech yom litzitz. It's better to wear this tiny thing than not to wear tzitzah at all. The Dirshu quotes the Ben Ish Chai in the Tshuva Tar Lishma, because it has a zeicher to the mitzvah, you get schar. Like what the Shulchan Aruch says later on, b'shas hadchak, if you don't have a lulav kosher, you could take a lulav pasal b'loi bracha. The Mishna Berura later on, Sivkan Dalet, says regarding the minhag of Ashkenazim that wear a piece of a beged of a katan, they put tzitzis on it. So even though they're not really mekayim a mitzvah, but at least the Eish Avram says that they'll be protected at a time of anger. So from here we see there is a concept of doing a mitzvah, even though you're not fulfilling the mitzvah. It's like a token gesture. So I always wonder, I was once a rabbi somewhere. We'll call it an old pulpit synagogue, and they had older ladies. They would put out these doilies on their head, and so I always wondered, like, they're not covering their hair. There's still tefach seir be'isha erva. Is that worth anything? So you see from here that the Ben Ish Chai says it's a gesture that. It's a zeicher for the mitzvah, you get some kind of schar. So that's how. So people who daven with their phones in them, so even though it's not really davening, but at least they're showing a token gesture to the ancient practice of the Hebrews who used to daven. So that also could be that it's not nothing, even though they're totally mavaza the tefillah, but could be it's like a doily. It's like they're remembering the ancient practice of tefillah. Anyway, I had to get that in. Fine. So the The Mishna Berura says, "V'darchei Moshe Siman Ches Kasav Alami Am Sheyavarchu Boika Talis Gadol V'Yifteres Katan V'Yochel Boik Kol Hayom." Darchei Moshe writes in Siman Ches to teach the people that they should make a bracha in the morning on a Talis Gadol and pater a Talis Katan and go with the wear the Talis Katan the whole day. Meaning, apparently not everybody had the right shiur, so don't make the bracha, but you'll make a bracha on the Talis Gadol. But if you could get a proper shiur, you want the shoulder area of the Talis Katan to be wide and not just to be straps in order for it to be substantial. By the way, the Machzas HaShekel quotes a Maril. The Maril says, "Lo yulesi avira dahai gisa udahai gisa mevatala." You don't want the airspace of both sides to be mevatalit. To which Machzas HaShekel says, this is just a phrase. All it means is that the shoulders have to be recognizable, that they should be a beged and not straps. But the Chazon Ish interprets it literally. And the Chazon Ish says that the two shoulder straps have to be wider than the neck hole. And the Chazon Ish says this is a matter of d'oraisa and you can't be lenient. Now, I don't know that our tzitzis, the shoulder straps, are wider than the neck hole. And the Kovetz Igros, he says the shoulder straps should add up to 21 centimeters and the whole 18. Interesting. So that's the Chumrah of the Chazon Ish, that the shoulder strap should be bigger than the hole. Fine. V'az chayiv v'tzitzis, says Mishna Berura, Gadol halav. The Gadol wears it as chayiv and tzitzis, lafukim ein boi zeh hashir, sharoy sharu, as opposed to if it doesn't have the shir, azu kol yama pater, then everyone agree you're pater, afilim hagadol yotzvei ba'akroy l'shuk. Even if a Gadol would wear it occasionally to the shuk, but if a 9-year-old would not wear it steadily, then you're not yotzu with it. If in your location or adults wear it steadily, since it's national halacha, it's chayv, and since it's v'ayin be'er halacha. So it's something that the Katan wears regularly, and the Gadol wears it upon occasion. Gadol here means ben yud gimel shana. Okay, so let's read a little bit. Lashuk. Or Pesach Beisa Barachayv, or in the entrance of the house in the street. So you need two things, that the Katan wears it regularly, and the Gadol wears it sometimes. If a Gadol would never wear it, it's not considered a garment even if he wears it at home. Some argue on this. The Rambam, the Mechaber, and others, all you need is that it should cover the head and the majority of the katan. But you don't need that the Gadol should wear it occasionally. The Achronim are maskim, the Bach, the Taz, the Magen Avram, Shar Achronim, and the Gra. Lahachmir, Shaloi Levarch al Talis Katan, don't make the bracha on Talis Katan, Av Sheish Bo Kedei Rosh V'Rush Katan, even though it would cover the head and the majority of a katan. If a Gadol would not wear it occasionally into public area. Even if you personally would go, but adam, your das is batal to everyone. Now, what exactly is the shiur? In other words, bottom line, how big do tzitzis have to be? That's $1 million question. That we'll see, Bez Hashem, tomorrow. Okay? Thanks everybody for joining. Agit Yar, Agaben Shiur, Agamar Chasima Toiva. And tomorrow we'll finish up this week's daf. And wish you all a great day. Kol Tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.